housemates, and welcome to the House of Mario episode 301. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me as always is my good mate, Josh, or JT if you like. Josh, we're on the other side of 300. I hope you're feeling bloody good after that.
Yeah, just about recovered now, I reckon, from our nearly 4-hour recording bonanza there. Yeah, a really nice way to celebrate the 300 episodes of the House of Mario. I think it was really good. I'm feeling pretty good. It was a nice little celebration of the show and everyone coming together. But I'm good. I've had a good week in gaming. Ready to talk all things 2025 on Switch.
Yeah, now we can look ahead now. We don't have to worry about that. All those years of Switch, they're behind us now. We're like looking ahead. We're positive people here at the House of Mario. That's what I like to think anyway. Bring the positivity to
because it was so bad the last 8 years. It's been horrible for us. And,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
You can't wait to forget about it. That's right.
No, it's been great, and it was nice having all the bit of nice feedback after all that time, all those episodes of the House of Mario, and it's a bit of relief off my shoulders. Been something I've been looking forward to getting for a long time. So it's behind us, and now we can concentrate on the future. And I guess speaking of the future, Josh, last week we didn't talk about Switch 2 at all because we didn't have to talk about it. But it's been a couple of weeks now, and I was just wondering how you're feeling sort of coming off of that reveal trailer and the hype as we talked about it on the episode a couple of weeks ago, and we even jumped on Seth Sturgill's podcast, the Coopercast, to discuss it as well. And we had a pretty full day just discussing Switch 2, but honestly, it's been a bit quiet since then. We've got a big wait until April, so don't know. Has your thoughts changed on it as the thoughts been marinating in your brain?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's been a little bit now, and I'm glad it's out there and officially announced. And I think a lot of people have sort of talked about, like, is it a good name or not? Was the timing right? The gap between that announcement and April 2nd. I found a lot of comedy, and I think IGN were waiting for some comments on analysts on whether Switch 2 is a good name. And then a few days later, they're like, yes, Switch 2 is a good name. And you know what, IGN, I could have told you that for free, I reckon. I would have, you could have saved some money and just gone to me, and I would have told you that. The whole reaction's been, a lot of people watch those videos, so there's a lot of hype for it. People are ready, and we just got to wait a bit. So I'm excited and keen, but we just got to wait. And this April 2nd thing still makes no sense to me, just how far away it is. Surely there's something in February, at least Switch 1 related, and there might be some more tidbits before then for Switch 2, but we're kind of just waiting at the moment. Someone I follow on Twitter or X is doing like near daily updates on how long it is till this Switch 2 Direct, so I might have to block them or mute them soon. 'Cause I'm like, it will happen when it happens now. We know a date, and I have a rough idea in my head, but I don't need a daily countdown at least. So, it will be here before we know it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me. When I first saw the fact the Direct was going to be April 2nd, it's like, man, that's so far away. And 2 weeks in, still, where like the hype's, it's died down because, we saw the thing, and that is what it is. But to have like still over 2 months away, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, this thing is a long way away, isn't it? It's like 3 months away even. It's not even that far, so yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then, we don't know the launch still, so, that's going to be sometime after April as well. So, get used to, still enjoy your Switch in the meantime. Just check out the eShop and check out some sales and play some games in the meantime, because you'll need to. Yeah,
no, don't waste your time. Make sure you play some video games. Don't just sit there on the couch being like, oh, I'm not touching that thing. Because, I go through that cycle with like most Nintendo systems. Even like with the 3DS, it's like, I don't want to play that anymore. I've got the Switch. And then like a few years into the Switch, I'm like, oh, the nostalgia starts coming back. You start appreciating the smaller form factor and the 2 screens, the stylus. And, it all sort of comes back. So I can see myself doing that with Switch as well. Just
maybe. Yeah. We for all we know, Switch 2 could fail miserably, and it has some shit games, and we get a new console 4 years from now or something, because they have to rush to get the new one out. Yeah. Who knows?
we might be playing the new Mario Kart. We're like, Donkey Kong looks stupid now, and we just can't get around it. And we just all
Give
go
up on
back
it.
to Mario
Yeah.
Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yep. Stay like that forever. Yep.
What do you think of some people's comments? How like people are disappointed that it isn't something completely new? Because all I've been hearing like the last 8 years is Nintendo's found it. Do not change what you're doing. Just give us a better one. And they literally did that. They just give you a bigger, better one, which is what I want. And I assume that's exactly what you want as well. But just the whole fact of people saying that, even like I think Polygon had an article being like the Switch 2 is boring and all that. In some ways, I guess it is. But like, what do you suggest then? What would you like the next Nintendo system to be? Like, even if it was them going back to a traditional console, I think there'll be so much disappointment just like, so I can't take it on the go. Or if it's something like they go balls to the wall with 2 screens again or whatever have you, like they just do something completely different. I think there'll be a lot of disappointment in that too. It's kind of like a lose-lose for Nintendo in some ways when it comes to maybe expectations of them impressing you or blowing you away. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I found that kind of strange, especially just after the last few years where everyone's like, just do it again. And they literally did that and call it Switch 2. And there was still that disappointment.
I think that's the minority though. I think overwhelmingly majority of people are very happy that it's it's going to be a more powerful Switch. It looks sleeker and nicer. It's going to play some of the more not just new Nintendo titles, but some of these other third-party titles that people would probably be waiting somewhat to have portably in their hands. So I think the majority of people know that the Switch sort of optics and that portable factor, but can also dock in and plays a real winner for Nintendo, and I think they realized it themselves, and so they haven't been stupid or silly about it. They've just called it, here's the new Switch. It's called the Switch 2. So much better than the Wii U trailer, which just talks about that controller, and it's so confusing, that very first Wii U reveal trailer. This is pretty clear cut. A Switch turning into a Switch 2 logo just shoves it in your face. I think most people want that, and if we get another 8 years or so of this generation like that, we're all going to be pretty happy, I reckon.
Yeah. I forgot who said it, but I remember somebody saying like the 2 and the Switch 2 logo is too big. I'm like, it kind of is. It kind of is like really big.
Oh, very deliberate though. Very deliberate.
Yeah, they're just like, you cannot please just say that it's a 2, please.
Yep. So obvious. Very smart. They've learned their lesson, and I'm glad they have.
Yeah. It's just, I'm just fascinated, just maybe even from like a industry analyst point of view, just to see how it does. Like, how do people react to it? Do kids growing up with the Switch go on to get the Switch 2, or does it get adapted into as many houses because of its most likely higher price point and all that? And how long does it take for a Switch Lite to come out to sort of negate that, so more people within one household can pick it up? And I don't know. I'm just very curious from that point of view, just to see how it all goes and how the game's affected and all of that. Let alone me just getting one and being able to play it in my free time.
Yeah, I think for me, whenever they've done a sequel to a system, handheld wise, it's never sold as well, has it?
No.
The DS to the 3DS and the Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance, it just hasn't sold as well. And I think that will be the case here again. I don't think it will ever surpass what the Switch has been able to do, but there's also, can it still be very successful on its own? What does that mean? Like, if it gets to 100 million units sold, Nintendo's never been able to go back-to-back generations selling 100 million units of a console. So this is their chance to do it now, I feel. Switch 2, that could definitely be another 100 million unit seller for them. So, all waiting to be seen. I really feel that they've been so strategically smart with this console and the launch lineup, and what's going to come. They've delayed games, the price points, all these things we'll hear about soon will be so important to just sort of convince people that it's worth the upgrade. The features as well. We don't know everything about this system yet, and so some interesting days ahead, and how Nintendo's going to put it together and market it. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it. And for like podcasters like us, I really didn't expect to have this big a gap between reveal and actually seeing games and features in that in action. So, don't know how much more mileage can we get out of talking about Switch 2? Not much, unfortunately, unless we get some more of those juicy leaks. Yes, I want that bucket just full of leaks.
Less hardware stuff recently, which has been unreal. I've enjoyed less of those. It's been more so about the announcements and the dates and release dates of the actual system, which is just different. So I'm just enjoying different things being talked about now.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Because I remember Jason Schreier, he mentioned that the reveal was partly because of third parties and they want to announce games that are, their games coming to Switch 2. But I don't think that's the case because like a lot of the features on Switch 2, we actually don't know about yet. So I feel like that is not the case. Like Capcom and EA, et cetera, aren't going to come out and talk about their Switch 2 games beforehand, before like Nintendo. I feel like, the biggest games are going to be at this Nintendo Direct that Nintendo really wants to showcase, especially for launch. So unfortunately, that's not the case either, because that would have been nice too. If it truly was, here's the Switch 2, here's the logo, here's the hardware, and we did get a splash screen of Switch 2 on Monster Hunter Wilds and all of that, it would have been quite useful and quite quite good just to be able to know what this machine is capable of. But we're not getting that either. So it is very much just a drought from here on out. Maybe we can just keep rewatching that trailer. And I think a lot of people are doing that because like the trailer's over like 20 million at this point. It's like surpassed the reveal trailer for the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, and that's just the North American one. There's the Japanese version, all the other different Nintendo channels, even Nintendo Australia. So altogether, I think it's near 40 million.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, people are keen, and don't know. We just got to wait.
We do. There will be stuff in February, whether it's for Switch 2 or most likely just Switch 1, but there'll be stuff there.
Yeah, I hope so. I want stuff to. I want some Nintendo stuff to play in the meantime. Apart from, I guess, Donkey Kong, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I only sort of noticed maybe last week or the week before, that it comes out the same day as the new Atelier game. I'm like, it's like JRPG as well.
Yes, you can't play both. That's way too long.
Yeah,
choice has to be made.
I'm more excited to play Atelier, brand new Atelier game, new character, new setting, new everything type of thing. But this is also my chance to be in the zeitgeist and be able to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X as well as like a re-release, not just me going back to it when people aren't really caring about it. So there's don't know, maybe I'll just play both. Maybe just play 5 hours of both and drop both.
Good luck,
because I can't focus.
If this is the one game you can get early from Nintendo, this would be very handy. But see how you go. You could always ask.
That's right. Like, hey guys, like, can I get it early? I've got a bit going on, March. Yeah, I've got a bit going on. Can I just have it now?
Yep,
Please. Yeah, I mean that works. Sure.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, why not? All right, guys. Let's before we get into the rest of the show, let's do some housekeeping. I want to put a spotlight onto Josh's podcast, Nintendvania. It's his Nintendo podcast, his guest-driven show, where each week or each fortnight he gets a brand new guest to talk about all things Nintendo. And Josh, what's going on over there at the moment?
Yeah, so latest episode out is me and you. We had a shared episode, so if you probably watched the House of Mario one, you've seen the same for Nintendvania. But this weekend coming up, it's all about Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So we've had the chance to play that game, so we'll give our review and overall impressions of that. I'll have a guest on the show. I do not know who yet, and that is for me to determine the next couple of days. But we'll talk about that and probably some February Direct predictions as well.
Oh, you're super confident on this February Direct. I like it.
I'm pretty confident. Something will happen.
Yeah, I am too. They can't go until April. They can't just... Surely they've got to talk about some products for us to buy.
Oh, there has to be more than just Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, then Xenoblade Chronicles X for this first half of the year. There will be more things. And so whether it's in a direct, a mini, or through Twitter announcements, there'll be something.
Surely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And anything else on your side of the woods? Anything else you'd like to touch on?
No, that's the show. Yeah, very like the House of Mario. Keen for this year as well. We're going to try some extra things. Haven't done a launch of a new Nintendo console on my show before, but it'd be a lot of fun as well. So yeah, stick around and tune in if you're interested.
Excellent. And I guess on my side, for my YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/iDruby, check out my videos, as well as the House of Mario in its video form, all of that. The last video I put out was called, I set a goal to beat 50 video games in a year, and here's what I learned. So, yeah, go and check that out.
Check it out.
And this week as well, I've got a video going up, going over my top 25 favourite games from 2024, going over what my favourite games of the year are, from games I didn't like very much at the very bottom to my game of the year at the very top. So go and check that out. It's taken a little bit to edit just because of its length. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. So it'll be available.
Yep.
Be available in the podcast feed as well. I've got a podcast feed called the iDruby Gamescast, and that's where I put the audio versions of my YouTube videos. If you want to listen to just the audio, and I reckon I'll put that in the House of Mario podcast feed as well. If you want to go and check that out, so expect that this week sometime. I'm just editing it here and there in between looking after the kids whenever I've got a bit of time to tap and drag some video files on the iPad. So look for that soon, depending on
so good, nice.
My internet can upload it. Because my God, Josh, we already talked about it before, but my internet got to work out last week with an almost 4-hour episode of this podcast being uploaded. It took a long time. And we use a service called Riverside, which has to upload our video to that service before we can download and edit and upload again. So a lot of uploading going on for just the one episode, but we don't do it that long every week, so we're all right.
Oh, it's for a special occasion. Very,
right.
Very worthy.
Next time, maybe we even do it like in 2 parts. Maybe just so our internet can handle it. I don't know.
Something to keep in mind, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, well. So after 300 episodes, you're always learning, Josh. You're always learning.
That's right.
All right,
Correct.
Let's jump into Donkey Kong Country Returns. Josh and I were lucky enough to get a copy from Nintendo Australia, and we got it we got it Friday. It came in Friday, so we've had the weekend to play it. And we actually got physical copies too, which was interesting. Usually we get digital copies if we are lucky enough to get a code. But Nintendo Australia looked after us and made sure we got access to the game. And Josh, straight off the bat, what's your impressions? What's your history with Donkey Kong Country Returns? And how much have you played so far?
Yeah, so I have done little bits and pieces of this game, but I've never properly given it a go. And so was very, very, I've been very excited to play it leading up to the release on the 16th of January. It came from a little bit of disappointment at first when they announced this was the Donkey Kong game they were bringing to Switch, because I was kind of hoping for a brand new one, but this is my chance to play it and experience it properly. I loved Tropical Freeze so much when that came out on the Switch. I missed it on the Wii U, but on the Switch, I've had an amazing time playing that. Playing this, we got it this week, a physical version, thanks to Nintendo Australia, so really thankful to them for that. But Drew, this has pretty much been my entire weekend, just playing this game, going through it, really, really enjoying it, because there's just something about Donkey Kong Country that I really love as a platformer. It's challenging, but not in a way that you really want to throw the controller out. Everything's achievable. You can do it. You just got to, time the jumps a bit better, think about like the pattern that you're going to do, all those kinds of things. And this is a game that really stacks up. And I was kind of a little worried going into it, thinking, because I come from Tropical Freeze first, that this is going to feel really sort of rough at first compared to that. But this really stands on its own. I definitely feel, I'm about 4 worlds in, that Tropical Freeze is probably the better game overall, but this is a very amazing, worthy first entry in this new set of games that Retro Studios undertook back in the day, and it's so fun. I just love the whole collectible aspect. Get the Kong letters, get all the puzzle pieces. The platform's very unique because, you got to utilize DK's roll and, you can do the jump mid-air, to get to hard platforming spaces. You got the minecart levels, you got the rocket barrel levels. I just love the variety in this, and you can speed run it as well. Just been having a really great time. It's just one of those games. It's just, I find it really fun and hard to put down.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm just curious, what world are you up to so far? As you take a sip of water, you're like, I thought I had 4. A moment.
So it's the cave ones, I think. So I'm up to the boss of that. So, and so that's been a lot of minecart levels and then a couple of rocket ones as well, which was really surprising because I thought you'd have 1 or 2 of them per world, but this one's pretty much just been those types of levels, which are my favorite. And so that's been very fun to go through. I've already done a little bit of backtracking, like playing some other earlier levels just to get, a bit of variety, try some time attacks, go back and, finish the level fully by getting all the letters and all the puzzle pieces. So I've just, really enjoyed like backtracking and playing those games. So I'm kind of taking my time with it and enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I guess my sort of history with it is I did get it like the year it came out on Wii, 2010, but I didn't finish it. I remember maybe playing it like a little bit around Christmas, but I remember, it's a hard game, and I remember it kicking my ass a bit, and I struggled with it a little bit. So I don't know if I didn't get back to it because of that, because it was a little bit tricky, or maybe I was super fixated on Smash Brothers. Whenever it turned on the Wii, I probably just wanted to play that.
Just play
honestly.
that. Yeah.
I didn't finish it on Wii, but I've still got my original copy. But last year, 2024, I played through the 3D version on 3DS. I was in a real Donkey Kong mood, so I went over to my 3DS and I had it there. So I played through it all of then. And last year, it was one of my favorite games. I absolutely loved it. Loved playing it on 3DS. And this version, the HD version, is pretty much a port of the 3DS game. It's more of a 3DS port than a Wii port, to be honest with you, just because they wanted to bring over the extra content from the 3D version, and to do that, they had to bring it from the 3DS rather than the Wii, from what I understand anyway, from what I can put together. I'm not there in the dev studio, but so I really enjoyed it. So when I guess the re-release came up for Switch, I'm like, cool, I literally just played it. I don't know if I need it, but it will be nice to have it on the big screen, play it with a controller, because the 3DS, I played it on a 2DS XL with a grip, so I could use the D-pad and all of that. But, the circle pad isn't that ideal for a harder 2D game, especially when it comes to like some of the bosses where it was a Wii game, so you get zoomed right out, and Donkey Kong's like a little pin drop on your 3DS screen, which isn't the highest resolution. So there was one boss in particular, like it was like the Bat boss. It might be the one you're going up against next, actually.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, about to hit it.
Yeah, so there's like, it zooms like right out. It's a minecart boss, and like I was like hunched over my 3DS trying to look at it. So it's definitely an improved version on the 3DS one. As good as the 3DS one is, it is what it is, just with the system that it's on. So I'm glad that it's on Switch. I will say, just straight off the bat, if it wasn't for being provided a copy, I wouldn't have bought this copy, purely because a full price $80 game, it's just a little bit hard to swallow. Maybe people like myself, who has played it, has had access to it before. But if you're going into it like it's a brand new game, and you're a kid or you're a parent buying it for somebody who wasn't alive 15 years ago when this game initially came out, I'd say that it's worth it. But also, it'd just be such a no-brainer if it was like, hey, look, we're bringing out this old game that was on the Wii. We've done some stuff to it to make it a bit more modern and not worry about motion controls. Make it $40, make it $50. It'll be like a no-brainer just to go and pick out one of the best 2D platformers of all time.
It's an issue for like not for me, because this is effectively, I'm counting this as my first time properly playing this and enjoying it. But this is a great game, but this is a horrible port. Like, this is like bare bones, like nothing extra to it. Whenever Nintendo does like ports games or re-releases them, typically we get the extra content, and like with the 3DS version, we got those extra levels. New content for you to enjoy. And what's effectively happened here is the only like thing they've done is the modern version, which is more health. But at least Tropical Freeze, when that came to Switch, they added funky mode, which I think like this is like that's such an important feature for younger people playing this type of game and getting into it, because yeah, like you said, these are hard games. These like I enjoy it because it's a tricky platformer. But you know, if you want to get kids to play this is a hard game, and there might be a lot of stories like, you know, when you were a bit younger and you got this game, Drew, where, you know, it's a bit hard. I don't want to, maybe like you get stuck and you don't touch it again, and you don't maybe fall in love with the series like Nintendo want you to. So I think the accessibility to this game's a little flawed. I think the port's bare bones and bit of a, you know, a bit cheeky by Nintendo charging full price for this, because I think they haven't put a lot of effort into, you know, making it look or be it as accessible as it really could be. So I think it's a hard one, especially for those who've played the game before.
Yeah, I don't want to get caught up on it too much, because just purely because you know, people might have already made up their mind, just like, yes, it's too much, no, it's not, or you know, they'll buy it or they won't buy it. But it is an important thing just to touch on, because like a lot of these Wii U ports, for example, they've done a great job just adding different modes or extended campaigns, like with 3D World or Pikmin 3. Like, for example, they're some of the best examples.
Mario
just
Kart.
like, Mario Kart, of course. Yeah, just like they've done a great job just making it worth that second investment. And maybe in this case, your third investment into the game. So yeah, it's just a little bit disappointing, and I think why it's just a talking point for me. It's just maybe a little bit concerning too, that this might send a message, but it's still sold fine. That we'll be happy not exploring the price range when it comes to re-releases in the future, because I'm all about this. I'm all about, you know, Wii games coming back, GameCube games coming back, and if they aren't worth it for Nintendo, just as far as putting the time and money into it, that's fair enough, but also make that a fair price point as well, you know, for consumers, because especially when it's at this point of the Switch, people are looking for, you know, something to buy, and maybe if you're looking at PlayStation or Xbox, especially here in Australia, like for example, like a full price game from Sony is $125. So if Nintendo came out just with like a budget line of ports or something, it'd be nice. But you know, they're going well. They don't have to, and it is what it is. But
yeah, being a DK fan is rough at the moment, because 2010 Donkey Kong Country comes out, brand new game, that's fine. 3 years later, we get the 3DS version. You're like, oh, okay. I mean, fine. It's a portable way to play it. There's extra levels at least, so that's something. 2014, a brand new sequel on Wii U, so that's great. Obviously very good. But then, you know, since then we've had remakes of Tropical Freeze on Switch, and now Donkey Kong Country returns again on Switch. So, you know, there's only been 2 games effectively for 5 releases over the last 15 years. And so it shares a similar fate to Metroid in a way, in terms of, I feel it needs to, like, it deserves better. It just doesn't get it at the moment. And, you know, Nintendo is starting to do a great job at getting at least, you know, remasters and ports done by third-party developers, because Nintendo is too skillful and too valuable with their time to bother about doing those sorts of things. They can outsource that. But I think this is one thing where, you know, they've done a pretty good job overall with a lot of IPs, but DK1 is one that suffers. And yeah, the next one has to be a brand new game. Has to be a brand new one. It's been way too long that they deem it such a big IP, and just don't make new games for it. So hopefully soon.
Yeah, well, they've kind of run out of ports, unless they remake like the original trilogy of country games or something.
They can't do Wii U ports on the Switch too, so they're going to have to be, you know, that's right, port a few other things. Are we in this era now where we're going to get port supports? Like, this is the first one effectively of that. Is this the start of it all? You know, you game with Nintendo long enough that it's going to get to the stage inevitably. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I honestly, for like people like us, I think it honestly will. Like, it will get to the point where, like, man, this is the fourth time
Yeah,
we've been sold this, and you know that it's kind of up to us to make the decision. Like, you know, I played this 15 years ago. I've got a copy of it on my shelf. I don't have to buy it. Like, it's it's full price still.
yeah,
It is what it is, and like, you know, all companies that sell to children or kids or like the new generation, it's just what they do. They've always got a market revolving around. And I guess that's just the case here. But I think what just makes it that little bit more frustrating is I'd be all about it. I'll be all about giving them my money. But it's like, oh, wait, you want that much? Oof. Like, it makes me think about it. It should just be
for sure.
that amount where it's a no-brainer. But yeah, if the full price bothers you, I guess, don't go forward. Don't listen to the rest of this. Actually, no, do listen to the rest of this. But you know,
listen.
Don't have to put your money down. But as far as the game,
we'll go on sale eventually.
Yeah,
A couple of years from now.
Actually, maybe not.
A couple of years.
I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about like Switch and Nintendo. It's just the whole thing. Like, if you pick up a Switch now, it's still the same amount that it came out on launch day, and the games are the same price.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, if it was like a PlayStation or an Xbox, where we could recommend people go and get a Switch, even a Switch Lite, get it dirt cheap, and you get like, I don't know, the top 10 best games on the system for, I don't know, $200 for all of them. That'd be really nice, but unfortunately not. That's just, when it comes to Nintendo, it's just not the budget brand, unfortunately. It's not where you go to save a penny. It's just how it is, especially now.
Yes, it is the way it is. That's right. We chose this life.
Yeah. But I guess, you know, the price is a massive conversation. But as far as the actual game goes itself, like, still an amazing game. I'm glad that it's on Switch. And if you're even remotely clued in, you might see outlets like Game Explain and a few others sort of do the comparisons between the Wii version and the Switch version, and sort of have that there's a lot of like graphical and effects that have been removed in the Switch version. For example, I remember one comparison, like there's a sun in the background, and that's just been removed on the Switch version. So in some ways, some sort of textures in that look a little bit worse on the Switch version. But honestly, me playing, I just had one sit down with the game because I've been playing a fair bit of different games this weekend. So, my initial sort of playthrough, I didn't notice anything because you're not looking at it side by side. I don't think it's really that big a deal for the most part. I don't, especially in something like this where the expectations isn't that, you know, the game's been remastered. It's not comparing like The Last of Us remaster to the brand new like PlayStation 5 Last of Us, where it's like, oh, what's the differences? What am I actually paying for?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it is very much, I just want to access it on Switch with my Pro controller, and that's it. I don't want to have to go to the Wii version and shake the Wiimote to do a roll.
Yeah, and that was one thing that was stopping me playing those games, is because firstly, the 3DS one, I knew it wouldn't look as nice. I knew that, the controls are a little, like you said, that circle pad's not my favorite. I only go back to the 3DS stuff if I really need to. And then, the Wii, like, having to use motion controls, like, obviously the gimmick and the fun thing back in the day, but now you look back on it and you're like, no, I don't want that. And,
it wasn't a good idea back then. It's like a very kind of technical 2D platform where you've got to have good timing. I mean, you've got to do a roll, which is a very important mechanic, especially in some levels. You got to do that big shake with the same controller you're pressing jump on. It's a bit, don't know.
So for those reasons alone, this makes this a very nice, definitive way to play it, and it looks really good too. Like definitely some of the textures, obviously coming from the 3DS one, like, look probably worse than they could be if they had used some of the Wii stuff. But it's a really solid looking HD release of a Donkey Kong game, that's for sure. Yeah.
Just playing it had no problems, like performance-wise and all that. Like, Cross, I wouldn't expect to have anything like that, any performance problems coming from, obviously, the Wii and 3DS. But
it's a bit of loading time. It loads longer than I would have liked. that's the only thing really performance-wise. I think frame rate's pretty cruisy. Sorry, just thinking out loud. But other than that, I can't remember the name of the company that's ported it, but yeah, they've done what they needed to do.
Yeah, they got their paycheck. They did their job, and we've got returns on Switch. So thank God for that.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Now give us a new one, Nintendo, please.
Yeah, give us a new one. It's funny because I was going to say only a few years ago, but yeah, Tropical Freeze was a long time ago, 10 years ago. When Tropical Freeze came out on Wii U, everybody was like, oh, another Donkey Kong, Christ. Like, I think everybody was really hoping for Prime 4, even back then from Retro Studios. So Tropical Freeze was like a big disappointment, but it's certainly not now. I mean,
no,
they could have done another Donkey Kong game between now and development of Prime 4.
Like I'm kind of disappointed now that there's no trilogy, or that we might get one, but like all these Donkey Kong games, especially the country, you got the 3 on the Super Nintendo, and then you got the 3 land ones, and we just didn't get any. We didn't get that third new one here, and so I hope they can correct that very soon. But I've like a lot of people, I think, didn't appreciate 2D platformers growing up as much as, the 3D ones. But now I'm like, these are like, have a special place in my heart too. And I like both of them for different reasons. This is a great series that, I think if you love platforming, you just got to give it a go. It's just too good to not do that.
In our lifetime, provided we live out our lives, naturally, I'm sure we'll see another Donkey Kong game, a 2D game.
Yeah, I know that, but just
we'll get there eventually.
Oh, geez, really? Yeah.
Or we'll get a re-release.
That should not be the expectation or the bar. Really, it's Nintendo's so big now and so cognizant of what they need to do with their IP that I think it is at that stage now where they can Donkey Kong's that next one. I think Metroid's on the right track now, hopefully, but I think Donkey Kong needs something. And so I'm hoping they can, get a steady release of games going forth here out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely want another Donkey Kong game. But it's nice to just have that reminder as far as like this re-release goes. But it was a great game. And now we've got the definitive version of it all. And hope we get more. So when do you reckon you'll finish the game? You're going to try and wrap it up this week, or just going to take your time, 100% it? What's your sort of game plan?
Yeah, I'd love to finish it as much as possible before recording this weekend. I'm in World 4 now, so I'm a decent chunk of the way through. But yeah, I don't think I'll, once recording's done, I won't stop. I'll want to keep playing this. It's one of those games where I want to try and 100% as much as possible. I tried to do that with Tropical Freeze, and I didn't get. I think I got into the 80s percentage-wise, and stopped out of frustration, I think, for some of the things I had to do. So I got my use out of it then, and I want to try and do the same thing for it now, for this one.
Yeah, well, good luck. I'm certainly not going for 100%. I reckon I'll just chip through
before?
it. No, I haven't. No, definitely not. I reckon I'll chip through it. I'm not like super dedicated to finishing it, but at the same time, I just have fun when I'm playing it. Like just doing those 2 worlds, just sat there for an hour and a half or however long it took. I just had a lot of fun, and like some of the levels that I struggled on the first time I played it last year, like that just jetpack level where like you got the pirate ship chasing you. I remember that taking me forever, but I did it first try just last time. Like, cool, I've sort of retained a little bit of that
the knowledge,
that skill, that knowledge, I guess, from last year on the 3DS. So maybe I'll get through it a little bit quicker if I just sit there and listen to a podcast and chip away at it that way. But
nice.
I don't really have that much more on Switch right now, but I'm looking at playing. So maybe just make that my Switch game for next week or so.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
The that crab boss took me way longer than it should have, because I didn't realize you could bang your fists on the ground to make them flip over that way. I kept thinking you had to roll them over, and by rolling into them, they would shoot up in the air. And sometimes they'd fall on their back, then you could then stomp with them, but sometimes they weren't. And like, what's the pattern here? Why isn't this working? And then I checked the video, because I'm like, I'm sure I'm not doing this right. Then like, like so stupid, Josh. Like, yes, of course you got to bang the ground to stun them. And I was able to smash it out pretty quickly after that. But just like, God, it took me way longer than it should have.
Yeah, because some of those different crabs too, you've got different ways of flipping them, and some don't need to be flipped. And
correct.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, got to use those hands, those big Donkey Kong hands. He loves it.
Yeah, reverberate.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much to Nintendo Australia for providing us a copy. And if you guys out there have played the game, or maybe you're playing it for the first time, I'd love to hear what you guys think of Donkey Kong Returns or Country Returns HD. All right. Josh, have you been playing anything else?
Just Balatro on top of that. So I'll play like a lot of DK, then I'll finish it off with some Balatro, and I'm just trying to get through all those decks with different difficulties now. And just, really, really still enjoying that game. So that's been like my nice little puzzle kind of palette cleanser of a game to finish before I go to bed. Like phenomenal game. And I've seen a lot of my friends online are playing this at the moment still. So it's quite funny to see, this game's already nearly a year old, and people, a whole bunch of us still are playing this game a lot. Smashing it out. I'm learning new things about the game, like the negative stuff a bit more, getting into that a bit more now, and then the double tag features. So it's like I feel like I'm slowly getting there, but there's just so much to it. And then new Joker cards, trying those out, building different runs in different ways. It just is a lot of variety in this game, and really enjoying it for that still.
I've been meaning to jump into it just so I could talk about it to you, so I can understand like the mechanics and stuff you're actually talking about. But I didn't get to it. I've got it sat there on the Steam Deck, looking at me every time I go on. But I think what I'm struggling with at the moment is just starting new stuff on handhelds when like I'm looking after the kids or they're watching TV. I want something I can quickly boot up and just play. But like if I boot up Balatro, I'm like, I've got a lot to learn straight off the bat. I don't really have the just the attention span right now with the kids
doesn't
around.
hold your hand, at least. It gives you like a 2-minute tutorial, and then it kind of leaves you alone, and it never talks to you again, which I thought at first was a little weird. But then, you're just playing cards effectively. So you're looking for like flushes and 4 of a kinds and straights and 2 pairs, and it's just that concept. And then you slowly work out what everything's doing. And just clicks. So it's just one of those games you just got to learn by playing, and you get there. Yeah,
well, I hope I get there.
Man, you got to
pay for the game,
so good. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Should be good. I guess as far as the games I've been playing, I played a fair bit over the weekend. I dabbled into some stuff. Over I guess the last even couple of weeks. I forgot when this game came out. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Or maybe 1 week ago. Can't remember. I'm sort of all out of kilter from not really talking about like the games I've been playing last week. So I'm kind of unsure. Just all these days and weeks blur into each other. But I've been playing Dynasty Warriors Origins over on the PlayStation 5. And this was actually another game I got a review code from Koei Tecmo. And I was really surprised when this came in because I saw that they posted on X that they were just putting it out there that content creators can put their hand up for a code, and every now and again I'm like, oh look, that's a game I'm looking at buying. I'd like to pick that up, so I may as well put my hand up and see if I can cover it on the show. And I was real surprised when I actually it came in. So thank you very much to Koei Tecmo Europe for the review code. But
nice.
The Dynasty Warrior series is something that I'd never played before, and I really fell in love with the genre with the Nintendo games that Koei Tecmo made with Nintendo. So the first one that I really loved was Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which was like the alternative story to Three Houses. And I fell in love with that game, largely because it was Fire Emblem, but with Muso action gameplay. I was like, that's kind of perfect because I love everything about Fire Emblem, like the characters, the setting, the anime cutscenes, the relationships, the stat building. Like it's all awesome, but I'm not really a strategy fan. It's just it doesn't really click with me as much as I might even like it on paper. Hasn't really caught me yet. I've tried a few Fire Emblem games and it hadn't really caught me. So I loved playing that game in 2022. And the Zelda games too. Age of Calamity, really love that one. Playing it before Tears of the Kingdom, so I
Yeah.
wanted to try Dynasty Warriors, like the actual series itself, and what Origins is brand new game that's set out on every platform except for Nintendo, but also feel like this is a good candidate to come to Switch 2 as well, just because Koei Tecmo, good relationship with Nintendo, and hopefully we'll see it on Switch 2. So might have a bit of a head start when it comes to some Switch 2 coverage here. Who knows? But
Yeah, nice.
it's great. It's got really awesome high production, which I wasn't expecting. Just really pretty cutscenes and like the actual gameplay itself. Because I'm not playing on Switch, I'm playing on PlayStation 5. Like the amount of on-screen enemies there are, it's just insane. Like you literally are going against like whole armies. Whereas on Switch, when you're playing like the Muso games, there's so many, there's heaps of enemies, but when you're playing like Origins, there's just a whole battlefield worth of enemies and generals, and they're all spread out. It's really interesting just how the extra power can sort of make the full scale war just feel that much bigger. Because like this game is based off of the, I was going to say Three Houses, the Three Kingdoms, based off that story. So a lot
Yes.
of, I think most of the games are based off of that story. And in this game, you play as like a wanderer, and the game starts off, you're in this village, and there's a lot of poverty going on. People can't eat, they're starving, and there's this ruler who's basically not looking after them at all. There's a lot of corruption going on, and you're a wanderer who basically stands up for them, and the story goes on from there. And it's interesting enough. It's not like captivating me. It was like, I've got to find out what's going on next. But it's an interesting just setting just to facilitate the gameplay. Like, this army is, doing this. You've got to stop them. You've got to take down this general. You've got to make sure that, your units are able to move forward because they've got this specific thing that they're doing. Like, it just sort of revolves, just keeps you going that way. And I'm enjoying just playing it at night, just going through, maybe listening to a podcast while the battle's going on and pausing that podcast when the cutscenes come on. And I'm just really enjoying it. There's a lot of like skill trees and stats and different weapons that you level up when you use them and that too. It's just very satisfying as far as all of that goes. Really sort of taps into that RPG itch. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think I had a bit of a look online. I think there's 6 chapters. I'm in the second chapter. I'm about 5 or 7 hours in. Don't really know. Just a guess. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I want to see through the game and actually complete it, because it's just a nice game to somewhat turn your brain off, because there's a lot of combos and stuff you do, but it's very hack and slash. But at the same time, when like an army has you surrounded and you're in the shit, there is a lot to think about. You've got to like take down certain generals because they're about to wipe out your team. So you've got to like go from one end of the battle screen or the battlefield to go to the other side to be able to like protect different units and all of that. Like, so it's not as easy as like the Muso genre sort of gets a bit of slack for, because I was a part of that, to be honest with you. When I remember Bryce, he used to love the Dynasty Warriors games even before Hyrule Warriors came out on Wii U. And I remember being like, why do you like this? It's just like square, 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 triangle, all of that type of thing. But it's really not. It's really not. It's good. It's good just to have an action game where there's a lot of depth to it, but it's nice and relaxing in some aspects too.
Yeah, like, has there been much fanfare to this game? I haven't heard too much really about it. I know it's not Nintendo, but
yeah. Not really. I first noticed the game in a state of play. I think it might have even got announced at a PlayStation state of play.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I'd like, the graphics looked nice, especially to like, the Warriors games I was playing on Switch. I'm like, it looks just like a big grand version of that. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give that a go. And I probably wouldn't have played it this month just because I spent like I used a lot of my gaming budget, around Christmas time as far as that went. So I would have probably waited for a sale for this one, as well as because I have like plenty to play at the moment. But yeah, it was definitely something I was looking forward to playing, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. So, don't know. Have you played much of like the horror warriors or anything like that, or just not really your thing?
No, not really. It's never really sort of drawn me in. I've seen Michaela play a couple because she got Age of Calamity as well, and so yeah, I've just haven't had the interest really. So, but we mentioned before if they did a Xenoblade one, I think I'd be keen to try it out for that reason. Yeah, like I'm sure I would enjoy it enough if I got to play it. But yeah, Age of Calamity didn't draw me in for the lack of canon story to begin with, and Three Hopes. I just wasn't looking for something like that at the time. So any sort of other Nintendo crossover, I might be more interested in doing eventually one day maybe.
I've been thinking about what the next Warriors Nintendo crossover will be because it's been a few years since the last one with Fire Emblem. So I'm like, what will
22.
the next one be? People are saying Xenoblade. I'm like, that's a great contender. That would be amazing. Even me who hasn't played Xenoblade like all the way through, I haven't beaten one of the games. That would be an amazing one.
Yep.
From like a lore perspective and everything as well would be really cool. But what do you reckon could draw you in? You love Pikmin? Could you a Pikmin one? A Pikmin Warriors game? A Metroid Warriors game?
I mean,
you probably don't want Koei Tecmo anywhere near Metroid again, though, mind you.
No thanks. Yeah, correct. I think Xenoblade's a big one. Like for me, it's just thinking about that type of sword and combat kind of perspective. I think they're the ones that would work the best. Is Zelda and Fire Emblem the big ones already they've done? Is Xenoblade's a good contender after that? But beyond that, I wouldn't want to see really Metroid go down that route. I'd rather
that makes no sense.
focus on the games they need to sell instead.
I always thought a Pokemon one would be really cool.
Okay.
Based on like the great Pokemon War that's showcased in Pokemon X and Y.
Yep. So you got your Pokemon trying to destroy other Pokemon, make them faint and all that.
Yeah, I guess so. Because not in Origins, not in the latest game, but in the Zelda game and the Fire Emblem games, you can play as like a lot of different characters. So you can imagine like how many Pokemon are playable characters and all that. That could be a lot of fun. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. What would be a weird like Bayonetta would be cool, but that's the same sort of style, isn't it? So that's whether it would be different enough.
It's apart from like the massive amount of enemies, it's maybe a little bit too similar.
Yeah. Kid Icarus, man.
Yeah, well, Kid Icarus would be dope. That's all about massive scale and wars and got the gods and their armies and everything. Yeah, that'd be sick.
That'd be unreal. That's my answer now. After Xenoblade, that's Kid Icarus. That'd be a great way to sort of give some life into that series.
Can you imagine? Like, I'll be stoked. I'll be like, you're making a Warriors Kid Icarus game? That is amazing. But out of all the franchises you could have chosen, you went with that one?
Yeah.
A lot of people will be pissed, but I'll be so happy.
Super niche.
Yeah, so why not? Yeah. Just the year of Kid Icarus. Do the remake on Switch. Give us a Warriors game. Oh.
Could we do like a Sin and Punishment style instead of rail shooter, but obviously like this sort of style instead? It's a similar kind of, weapon they could use in a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you got that many weapons to choose from in Kid Icarus Uprising. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So,
gameplay elements of like Star Fox Assault. I don't know. This is me listing everything, but Kid Icarus. Let's go with that.
We're getting into a little creative little pocket here. I never even put those two together. That sounds amazing. That sounds phenomenal. That sounds great. I really want that
now. Yeah, so let's petition.
That's another thing I'm expecting at this Nintendo Direct. Like, all right, we've got two Kid Icarus games. Here's the 3DS game, and here's Warriors, and make it a third one. Just do a sequel to it as well. Just get those three. That'd be good. Thanks, Sakurai.
Right. Correct.
You've been busy, I hope, mate.
And I hope the Game Boy one as well while you're at it.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
So Sakurai, I want them all made by you, and I want Smash Brothers, the next one in the same year. Thanks, mate.
You're pretty good.
You're a busy man, so I hope you've been busy.
Yes.
Mucking about on that YouTube channel of yours, sir. And quickly, I just want to go over Ninja Gaiden 2 or Gaiden 2 Black, which I've been playing on Xbox. I don't know if you caught the Xbox Developer Direct a few days ago,
No.
Josh. They went over like four games coming to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, and one of them was Ninja Gaiden 4, which has been made in collaboration with Team Ninja and Platinum Games, and that looks awesome. Looks really cool. But they on the same day they shadow dropped a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is a game I've never played before, but it was a game that came out on Xbox 360, I think, and I'm a little bit confused about like the release of this because there's been that many re-releases and different versions of Ninja Gaiden 2, but I'd never played it before, and playing it just like it's funny because I went to my PS5 just to go and buy it, and I looked at the price. It was $75. I'm like, all right, over to the Xbox, over to Game Pass. So I booted up the Xbox for the first time in God knows how long. Redid my Game Pass sub, which has been a long time since I've been on Game Pass. So I played it that way, which is good. Everybody hail Game Pass for that nice cheap in for some games. It's always good. But yeah, this was a series I'd never really played before. Like obviously Ninja Gaiden, a massive just NES series, one of like the top games on NES, and you always hear about how hard it is. So I'm just like, no, I don't want to go back to an old school hard as nails 2D platform. I don't know, but it was the same for the 2D game or the 3D games, with Ninja Gaiden being just like one of the most important original Xbox games, being exclusive over there and all of that. So it's kind of cool to see it over at Xbox's Direct, that it's they're publishing it and bringing it back. And actually playing the game, I had so much fun playing it, dude. The game's been like completely redone in Unreal Engine 5, so it looks beautiful and it feels so good to play. Like just, all of the different weapons that you've got to use. You've got like, you start off just with a sword, but then you get like a staff, it's called the Lunar Staff, and it's personally like my favorite weapon to use. You like spin it around, and once you get it, like, it takes a bit of momentum to get going, but once you get it going, like spin it around, just knocking enemies and blood splattering everywhere. It's so good, dude. It's so much fun. So yeah, I sat down with it for just a night and played it. Got up to chapter 4. So yeah, just finished chapter 3 and just starting chapter 4 next time I pick it up. But yeah, man.
Yeah, nice.
It's just a lot of fun. I can't wait to dive into it more and actually play some of Ninja Gaiden 4 when it comes out later this year too. Kind of a real surprise. I didn't expect to be like jumping into Ninja Gaiden this month, but that's sort of that's the fun part about just shadow drops, I guess. Just like, hey, here's this brand new remake and a sequel coming out later in the year, and they've got that 2D Ninja Gaiden game as well, which looks really cool, pixel art, published by the same publisher as that Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge.
Yes. Yep.
And they seem to be just
on a winner.
Yeah, just masters at doing that beautiful sprite art. Like, it looks stunning. So, don't know, man. I might be playing some Ninja Gaiden games this year. I've got some series I've been wanting to go back to and play, and that wasn't on the list. But hey, maybe it is. Maybe I'll get it.
They're the fun ones half the time when it's just stuff you're not expecting, and they're just into it. So that's cool.
I'll get a few more chapters in, it will kick my ass. I'm like, nah. Because these games are like notoriously hard. I'm playing on normal. I don't know if there was a normal mode in the original game, but maybe this is a dumbed down version of what was originally there. I'm not quite sure, but all I've heard about is how hard it is. And I've died a few times, but hasn't been too bad. So I'm kind of like, maybe I'm playing on a dumb easy mode, but I'm happy with that. Look, I'm in a certain season of my life, with 2 kids and everything. I know where I stand. I'm not trying to impress anyone.
Yeah, correct.
I just want to be a ninja and just cut up people. So yeah. Speaking of that though, just the violence, you cut off the limbs, and then on the Xbox controller you use the Y button, and you've got to finish them off, because if you don't finish them off, they could just be they're limbless on the ground, but if you go too close to them, they can impale you with their weapon, or they've got explosives on them and they just bomb you and stuff like that. So you've got to make sure all the enemies are finished off. Otherwise, there might be some strays that just come and get you. And That
Yeah.
might be like what kills you in that particular level. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, and
Nice.
when they shadow dropped it too, like I'm playing Dynasty Warriors and Ninja Gaiden. I'm like, Koei Tecmo, man, they're on some winners here. Like just this month, those two games alone, like really great releases. Then they got Atelier coming out at the end of March. Then obviously with Ninja Gaiden 4. So that's like 4 games that I'm like really kind of into. So
Yeah.
don't know. I'd like to see what else they do this year as well. It's kind of they're one of those publishers that a lot of people don't think about, but if they make games that sort of hit with you, like they really do hit with you, they're sort of like a double A publisher in Japan that doesn't get the, I guess, as much limelight as the big
No.
guys like Capcom
No, they
and
don't.
Square Enix.
Yeah. No, they just don't, do they? Just don't get that recognition. So, yeah, no, that's cool, man. I think that's half the fun. Just sort of, branching out every now and then. And I'm probably a bit shy and don't do it as often as I should. But then when I do and find something really cool and unique, it's like, that's why you do it, to experience those new different games and have some fun doing it that way.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, might kick my ass and might just jump off of it, but the first 3 chapters, really liked it.
Very good so far. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right, Josh, let's jump into a dusty old room here at the House of Mario. We haven't been here for a while. Christ, it might have been. It's been over a year, so we'll see if he's still going all right in the room. I'm sure he's still there. Just been looking after himself. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah, he'll be right.
We'll see how he's going.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here.
Oh, he's still alive. Thank God.
Thank you
God.
for your never-ending support, for giving me a Mushroom Kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
All right, for the
Drinks
first time
out.
in a long time, we're stepping back into Reggie's rec room. He's still here. He's still got the fresh drinks
He never
to pour
dies,
us.
man. You can't get rid of Reggie. Once
No.
he's invited into your house, he's always in your house.
Yeah, no, just you can't get rid of him, and nor would I want to. He's a nice
No,
man.
correct. That's right.
He's a few years into his retirement now. He's real settled into the role. He's just laying back, enjoying
Nintendo
himself.
ambassador. Yep, that's right.
He's just a good old Nintendo ambassador. Actually,
Charles
speaking of,
Martinet.
speaking of being a Nintendo ambassador or whatever, he almost got into trouble at the New York Game Awards, saying that Astrobot almost out Nintendo.
I heard that.
Yeah, oh, Reggie, stay on your side of the line, mate. Don't you
Yes.
upset Furukawa. He will come down with his stuff and split your head open.
Almost is the important word, but I kind of get what he meant with Astrobot. It was pretty much almost.
Oh, 100%. It was amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
But Josh, we're here in Reggie's rec room because I thought we'll go over a particular list, and I was just like, it'd be interesting to react to somebody else's list of the best Nintendo Switch games. So after a quick Google search, I came across the Gamer. So we're going to go over the Gamer's top whatever. I actually don't know how many are in this list. Hopefully not too many. Hopefully they've put it down to a decent amount, not too crazy. But we'll go over the Gamer's whatever list of the best Nintendo Switch games. And before we get into it, maybe we should just sort of discuss, what we expect to see in this list. Is it going to be dominated by first-party Nintendo games? Is it going to be really predictable? Or is it going to have a nice sort of mixture of third-party games and indie games in there? Because there are a lot of indie games especially that really are important for, I guess, the library of Nintendo Switch. It's not all just Nintendo. But yeah, there's a lot of sort of possibilities what we can see from the Gamer.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. You've sent me this list. I had heard of it, but hadn't seen the list as well. I've got a few games here as listed down, which I think are the top ones. And yeah, I've done a little bit of a split between Nintendo and take the indie route, actually. I haven't really written any big third-party ones here.
So let's jump into it and see what the Gamer had to say. This is just the blurb or the write-up beforehand. When Nintendo unveiled the Switch, people were excited, to say the least. Excited, but cautious. After the Wii U's rocky life and less than desirable sales, this could have been another disappointing attempt at something new. However, as is well known today, the Nintendo Switch quickly become one of the most popular consoles available and still dominates the industry. With the option to either play on TV at home or on the TV, and sorry, I butchered that, play at home on the TV or take it with you at any time, the simple feature was something everybody kept loving. And so more and more games made their way to the hybrid console. With ports, remasters, and plenty of original titles, these are the best Nintendo Switch games of all time. And I guess, yeah, how many ports are we going to see as well? That's another sort of thing I didn't think about. Like, if I was making a top whatever list, I'd try to stay away from ports, but I would also count like really important ones, obviously like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I personally did on my top 5 list last week. But like stuff like even like Donkey Kong and things like that, like Tropical Freeze, really great games, but I don't know how much I see them defining Switch. But I guess if we make like a top 25, a top 50 one day, we can sort of think about it.
Yeah. What they're talking about, narrative experience and games that don't have to be exclusive to Nintendo. So they could have had a cross-platform release, but pretty essential playing for the Nintendo Switch nonetheless. So this opens up a whole bunch of potential things.
Yeah. I'm excited to get into the list. So, Josh, just as far as the video goes, if you're able to share your screen.
Of course. Let me know when that comes through.
It has come through on my end. Let's jump into the first one, Josh. And I've already looked at the first one just when I looked at the list to make sure that they actually had games here and not they weren't trying to, rip me off, as far as the list goes. The first one they got here is Stray. And I love this game so much. I love Stray. And this was like one of our first podcasts we recorded, maybe 2022 or something, Josh?
Yeah, I reckon.
Did like a Stray review. Because we both liked the game. It was only PC and PlayStation 5 at the time, so we both played it over on the PlayStation. But I don't think of this game as a Switch game, personally for me. But obviously it is on Switch, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this one because like you said, it came out on PS5 and PC straight away, and so we were day one, effectively players of it, I believe, and I really love this game and played it with Michaela, my partner, a lot, and we're cat lovers, and they did all the tropes really well, and beautiful ending, beautiful narrative. It came out to Switch eventually, and I think it runs okay, but it's not a Switch game in my heart anyway.
Yeah, it is interesting just from the point of view, like if we were to make a list, like stuff like this probably wouldn't make it just purely because. For you, would you put something that has a much better version elsewhere on your Switch list, for example?
Yes.
I think that's why a lot of these lists, like maybe for me, might be more dominated by Nintendo games. But yeah, would you have put this on one of your lists?
Put this on a list for best Switch games of all time. No.
Yeah, but it is definitely worth it. I love the game.
Yeah, it's a great game, and I don't know what the Switch version's like really though, but yeah. Sure, the definitive way is PS5 or PC.
Yeah, but I'm glad that it's there for sure.
For sure.
Next game is Dragon Quest III Remake. And this only came out maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago in November. So, yeah, pretty cool. This is a game I'm yet to get to. I bought a copy, but I was really excited for it. I think it looks stunning. I love the 3D HD art style. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I was happy to support the game, but I just haven't got to it yet. But just like the Switch itself is just such a brilliant RPG machine, especially if it is stuff like this, like with Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy and a lot of these, Square Enix games that they're making in this art style. Fantastic. So I can see why this is there for them.
Yeah. I really loved 11S. I got 40 hours in. I need to finish it. But yeah, these I've heard amazing things as well, and definitely can see it as a series I could really get into one day.
Next up, we've got Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, pretty low down.
So this is in the list. I'm surprised this is in the list. So this is our first proper Nintendo game, isn't it? And it's only just come out September last year as well.
I guess like you think about like the Zelda games, and obviously Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, probably at least one of them is going to be top five, if not top two. So I guess it makes sense if you want to include like this game as well, which is a brand new, unique Zelda game that wasn't a remake like Link's Awakening. Probably does make sense to put it in here, but to have it down here makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know how many. Did it say how many are in this list, Drew? How many games?
No, it didn't, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm surprised it's hit in some way, but it's still a very good game. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What we got here? We got the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. So I'm just trying to think, like, yeah, as far as like this is like a collection of DS games that have been remade for like modern platforms. So is this another game that sort of represents Switch as well?
I mean, yeah, it's not a brand new one. This is the latest one, isn't it? It came out last year. This collection, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, it did in the release down there. Yep. For some people, it would be. Just not for me, I suppose.
Ace Attorney. It's always been a series I wanted to get to. Just at the time on DS, I wasn't interested, but nowadays I am. It might be a series we'll probably actually get a kick out of now, like especially since
MEO.
Yeah, last year with MEO, I think we should. I think we talked about it before, but we should like pick one of these narrative point and click adventure games and try and tackle one and talk about it together. And
yeah, definitely,
like we do with MEO. I think that's where a lot of enjoyment for that came from. So
definitely do that sometime. Keen for that.
Yeah.
Never heard of this one.
Chicory, yeah, this is a cool game. I actually have it on Switch. This is another game I haven't played, but I know a friend of the show, Steph Sergil, absolutely loves the game. He had a video essay, and I watched the video essay that he did on this game, and he only talked about like a very small moment in the game and just how much that resonated with him. But it's been something that I've been looking at for a while, and I picked up on sale, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But the whole idea of like, filling in the black and white world as you go along is something that appeals to me. It's just, it came out like 2021, so it's been a while. It's been on the backlog for a while, Josh.
Will you ever get to it?
I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises. I made my wallet a promise, but
one day maybe.
Can't make you a promise.
No, fair enough.
So I'm enjoying like the amount of indie games in the list though. Like it's good. Obviously we're not at the high end of the list. Like I guess you could just fill the bottom in with indie games, and when you get to the top it's like Mario Odyssey, all of that type of stuff that we're expecting. Although we might get there and just like no Nintendo games at all. It's all just indies and third parties. Could you imagine?
I mean, no, but potentially.
Yeah. I also wonder, like, will we see stuff like Resident Evil 4 and a lot of these like older ports that are some of the best games of all time that are on Switch from GameCube, PS2, and older even. But yeah, will it make it to this list? I don't know. We'll see. Tunic. And Tunic's I've played this one on Xbox. It was on Game Pass when the game came out, and it's really cool. It's so cute. I love the art style. I love the like just running around like a Zelda game, little fox with a sword. And it kind of, in some ways, it kind of plays like a Souls game, just in the way that it's hard, and also like you're finding like you're going around the map, you're doing puzzles, you're finding different routes as you're going along, and you find like shortcuts for like ways back that you need to backtrack and things like that. Kind of like how the world's set out, similar to like Bloodborne and a few of these other Souls-like games. So it was interesting. I didn't play through it all the way, but what I did play was really cool. And as you go along too, you're actually finding like parts of like an instruction booklet. So it kind of like harkens back to like old school NES instruction booklets as you're going along. That's how like you're getting the tutorial by finding these like hidden collectibles. So really cool game. I can see why, a perfect fit for Switch. So I can see why it's on the list here.
Yeah, it's beautifully made, presented, even on the Switch. Again, I watched Mickey play this one on the PS5. But yeah, I can definitely see that resonating and transferring across pretty well to the Switch. So yeah, if you love Zelda, this is like a perfect game to play.
Yeah. Next up, we got Animal World. Came out last year. One of like the best games that came out last year. I didn't. Well, it's funny. I say I didn't play it. I didn't really play it. I booted it up while some friends were over just to like show it off. I'm like, oh, this game looks really cool because I got it on PlayStation Plus. It was a game over on the extra or whatever tier.
Yeah.
And so I booted it up. I think it was for my birthday, Josh, when a few of the people came down.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want to check out this game because it looks really cool. I booted it up and walked around a bit, and that was my time with it. So I didn't really play it. But I've heard so many good things about it. My good friend Seamus Mullins, we were talking about it when he came over around Christmas time when he was down here in town, and he was saying like one of his favorite games is how well like the Metroidvania elements work and all of the different items and all the secrets and everything. Sounded pretty cool. You know me, Josh, Metroidvania sounds like a headache to me, but I don't know. I'd like to give it a go, see how far I get into it without pulling my hair out.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about this. I haven't got to it yet, and Metroidvania, but done in a different way. Combat's not as important as other Metroidvanias, and so definitely on my list. Definitely aware of how good this game is, and that I need to get around to it one day. So it will happen.
It's on Josh's wish list. When it's 50% off, it's in his cart.
Yeah, it's so different, Drew. You'll buy a game and then never play it, and then I'll be like, I'll play it, but I have to wait for it to be on sale or when I've got time.
Well, Josh, that's a good way to be, mate. You stay just how you are.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't you change for anyone, mate.
No, I won't. Definitely not.
Next up, we've got Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door. Josh, I know you got a lot to say about this one because you played through it last year.
Yeah, this is the definitive Paper Mario game, and so classic on the GameCube, comes back to the Switch 20 years on. If you love this series, this is the one to play and experience. So funny, so witty, and the turn-based combat's where it's at, and Nintendo take note because we want the next one to be more like this.
So far, Josh, I'm noticing a lot of 2024. Do you reckon the gamer is suffering from a bit of recency bias?
Recency bias.
Yeah, a bit of recency bias here, the gamer.
Yes. Yep. Unless there's multiple pages of this, Drew. Unless there's like 7, 8 pages.
Well, then we're skipping to the other page.
Correct. We're not doing another 3.5 hour recording.
No, my internet can't handle that. Next up, we've got another indie game here, Josh. We got Dave the Diver. Look at this. Another game, but I got it on my Steam Deck actually. I got it on a pretty good Steam sale. So another game I really like the look of, and I'd like to get into. Pretty cool. You go diving, get your fish. When you take it back to your restaurant, you got that sort of aspect of maintaining good relationships with your customers and all that, and sort of expands your exploration while you're diving as well. I reckon I'll really like it, but haven't got to it yet. It was interesting the year it came out because it was a big hoo-ha-ha as far as the game went at the Game Awards because it was in the indie game category, but it wasn't really an indie game because it had like a big parent company for the team that made it. So that was a bit of
contentious.
Bit of contentious that year, but yeah.
Again, heard great things. Yep, very, very good game that I need to get to. Speaking of another one,
it's definitely for me too. I've had it loaded up for a little while. Sea of Stars from Sabotage. This game is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Like when it first got announced for the Kickstarter, I'm like, oh my god, it looks stunning. Like the sprites are just beautiful. I can't remember what I was playing at the time. August 2023. What would I have been playing then? I would have finished with Tears of the Kingdom, I think.
Tears would have been done, maybe Pikmin.
I didn't even get the Pikmin.
I think I was in Wonder and Super Mario RPG later in that year. Detective Pikachu, WarioWare.
Yeah, I think in 2023, I remember going through a slump, especially after Tears of the Kingdom. I sort of finished it. I was on such a high. I'm like, this was amazing. And I sort of just sort of had a break after that. I think so. I was in that mood when Sea of Stars come out. I just haven't caught up the time since. But yeah, that's another game on my wish list. Well, not even on my wish list. It was on Game Pass and PS Plus. And then I actually got it for free on Steam through Carpool Gaming because I donated to their Extra Life, and they do a thing where you go into a raffle and you can get like a game code or whatever. And I think I actually won it through that.
You won one. Hell yeah.
So this wasn't just me putting my money in the bin, Josh. This was good luck. This was good luck from a good deed.
Yeah, nice.
Unicorn Overlord, and this big theme here for all these good games. I'm like, it's in the backlog. I want to play it. Another Atlas game. Looks pretty cool. Like a Vanillaware game. Really great developers. And I don't know. I bought the game on PS5, but I honestly do not know when I'll have the time for it. Don't think I will.
I don't know if I will either. Again, heard great things, but yeah, it's just another good game that I haven't played.
I'm looking at the next game, Josh. How do you pronounce this? I've never heard this game in my life. This is a brand new sort of learning experience for me.
Melody of Moomin Valley, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Never heard of this one.
Yeah, I actually haven't either. Let's read the description that they've got here. If you like Trove Jensen's World of Moomins, you want to check out, what'd you say?
Snufkin.
Snufkin. Melody of Moomin Valley. Delightful adventure game sees you playing as Snufkin. It baffles me every single time I see it. As he returns to Moomin Valley in the spring. Unfortunately, the park keeper and the police officers have taken over the valley, and the Moomin troll is missing. If you spend the majority of the game exploring Moomin Valley and meeting the wonderful characters from Jensen's beloved world, the game's watercolor graphical style is beautiful too, and the cozy experience just feels like it was made for the Switch. Interesting. Well, this is the first game on the list. I've never seen it before, but yeah, I love the sort of art style and everything it's got going on. Really nice watercolor aesthetic.
You, Drew, to know these ones.
Sorry, I fucked up on this one, Josh.
Come on,
I'm
Drew,
a
be
big
better.
silly willy.
I just bought this one and never played that one as well.
Yeah, that's right. I should have. It should be on the. Look, I'll add it to the wish list. It'll be on sale for.
Thank you. That's better.
$10. I'll buy it. I've done my deed of. I own every game on the.
Stimulating the
the
games industry.
list.
Drew here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to look after them. Those poor developers, those publishers. How are they going to feed their children? That's
right.
Speaking of Resident Evil 4, here's Resident Evil 4, Josh. It made the list.
Good. And I need to. I had it on the Wii. Played it on the Wii. Didn't finish it, but yeah, I need to get back to this one day.
Yeah, me too. I haven't played through any Resident Evil games, so I want to start going through the series and maybe start with 4, probably. I got the remake on PS5, so probably play that one.
Yep.
Next up, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. We've got another Ace Attorney game on here. Jeez, the gamer loves Ace Attorney.
And this came out a bit earlier. 2012 it says here, but that'd be not the Switch version, obviously, the DS version. So yeah.
It might have even come out on, I was going to say PS4. PS4 wasn't out in 2012. Yeah, I don't know. Must be, yeah. I don't know. Got no idea, Josh. Stop asking.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll stop. Next up, we've got A Short Hike. And this was a cool game. I couldn't see it being in like a top list of mine, to be honest with you. It was fun. It was like, it's a short game where you're looking to get to the top of the mountain, and as you go, there's a bunch of NPCs, different quests, different things, different mini games, all of this type of stuff. It's like a really cool sort of exploration as you explore your way to the top of the mountain. It's like real cozy, laid back, chill. As you can see, it looks beautiful. It's a lot of fun, like gliding around. You can actually like fly around the map too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but as much as I like it, it was a great game. I couldn't see it being the top, but it's definitely like one of the, I guess, bigger indie games on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've heard it. It's a short game, isn't it? So
Yeah,
yeah, I just don't know much about it.
short game. It's a short hike.
Yeah.
Got another game. I got no idea. This is the second game on the list. Got no idea what it's about, Josh. This is a learning experience for both of us. This is another one. I look at this
Go on,
name,
say
Josh. Paranormal Site: The Seven Mysteries of
Hey, that's
Honjo. Honjo.
Well done.
Honjo. Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks, man. I need that positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
So, Paranormal Site: The
Pronounce it
Seven
well.
Mysteries of Honjo is a masterclass visual novel that sees you explore the Samida ward of Tokyo, trying your best to stay one step ahead and not become the victim of several curses controlled by people known as the Curse Bearers. Don't you fall into the trap of those Curse Bearers, everyone. Paranormal Sites, intertwining narrative, compelling characters and twists and turns keep you engaged from the get-go, and you'll be eager to reach the conclusion of each story branch and see how each option unfolds. If you love mysteries, drama, and the supernatural, you need to dive into Paranormal Site. So yeah, this is another one I haven't heard of. I guess, visual novels, I'm not paying a whole heap of attention to that. But Josh, is this a game we need to dive into? The gamer has put a heavy recommendation on for this. We're looking for visual novels. Should this one be added to our wish list and wait for a sale?
I'll add it to my wish list, man. And if we get a deal, we can play through it. Done.
If I had my Switch here, I'll check the price of it.
I can do that right now. You talk to Cult of the Lamb in the meantime.
Yeah. So next up, Cult of the Lamb. And this game is so funny. Like at PAX Australia, this is literally an Australian icon. This is probably like the biggest
for sure.
Australian game in decades. It's and you can see that Devolver Digital put up the money for this game every year at PAX, even though the game's been out for almost 3 years at this point. So yeah, it's cool. Just the fact that you're a lamb, roguelike elements. You've got like a city builder aspect as well. You've got all of your sort of followers that you've got to keep happy, whether it's feeding them or sacrificing them or making them eat each other's poop or whatever have you. It's really quite a strange game, but I love like the art style and everything about it too. And the game feels pretty good to play. I never really got into it as much as I would have liked. It's another one of those games, I guess, but I played it a decent amount and I quite liked what I played. So I think a lot of my bias for it probably just comes from the fact that it's a really successful Australian game, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I, again, need to play this. Michaela played it, so I watched her play it a bit. But, this is huge in Australia. Australians have really gotten behind it. We saw 2 people get married to the theme of Cult of the Lamb at PAX last year. It is literally a cult now in Australia. People love this game. So, definitely well worth its list mentioning here on this article. Paranormal Site, $30 on the Australian eShop, Drew, and it's from Square Enix.
Cool. Makes sense.
So,
When did it come out? It's got the
March 23.
23. Yeah, pretty distracted.
Yes.
March that
bad
year.
Time. Bad time.
We were just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Ooh, It Takes Two. Next up on the list. Josh, you played through this with Michaela, didn't you?
I have. Yes. This is very fun. Great co-op game. Won Best Family Game and Best Game at the Game Awards. I wouldn't call it a family game. It's some very mature themes in it, but hey.
It's literally a family. So it's a family game. I don't know what they're sort
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, but very, very great here. Hazelight Studios is it? Who are owned by EA, aren't they? So it's had a good backing. This sold pretty well, I think, after all the great positive reviews it's received, and it's well worth your time.
Yeah, they've got a new game coming out too. Forgot the name of it. Split Fiction, yeah. Got announced.
They're the ones who made that. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's in a couple of months.
Yeah, they'll be coming out soon. So I want to play it, and I want to play It Takes Two as well. But I need a buddy. See, with Split Fiction, Josh, are you playing with Michaela, or would you like to play with me?
Haven't teed up anyone, and you're the first to ask me, so I can play with you, man.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing.
Out?
Like, It's up for pre-order, at EB Games and things like that. I'd like to play that. It looks very good, but I need a friend. I need a friend that wants to play this type of thing as well.
Yeah,
And
I'll play it.
I,
6th of March. Okay. Well, I will be overseas at the time, so that's the only
look,
issue.
Josh, don't worry about that, mate. The game will be there when we're ready, mate.
All
Don't
right.
worry about it.
All
It's not. You're not going to get back to Australia and the game just like disintegrates in my hands. I'm like, Josh, you should have been here earlier.
Right.
You
As
monster.
long as you know, we're gonna have to wait a little.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, if you were a nice bloke, you might actually postpone your honeymoon a little bit just for that.
I wouldn't, but yeah. Oh,
Oh, okay, fair enough. Next
No,
up, we've
the
got Disney Dreamlight Valley. I got nothing to say on this game.
I same.
It's a big phenomenon.
Yep.
We've got Gris. Nice. I like this game. I like this game a lot. I played it a couple of years ago, all the way through, and last year the studio followed up with Nether as well, and that was one of my favorites from last year. And just a beautiful game, like just the amount of attention to detail in the animation and like the watercolor 2D art style, just phenomenal. There's a lot of themes going on, a lot of storytelling without any spoken words or text or anything like that. Big themes about loss and all of that, which is interesting. As far as the gameplay goes, there's some light puzzles and like exploration, but there's no combat or anything in this particular game. It is very much just like a 3 hour to 4 hour game, which is just an art piece to look at and listen to. Play it with headphones. It's amazing. So on the OLED Switch as well, perfect.
Cool.
The At Rhythm final bar line, and I actually bought this game the year it came out. It's because I love rhythm games, and this is a Final Fantasy rhythm game where like it's got all of the music, most of the music from like the mainline titles, and it's cool. It's cool. Just like you play through the songs and you advance through the different campaigns for each game, starting off with like the early game music, like the battle theme, and starting areas, and you sort of go through the bosses and all of that as you go along. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I didn't play like all of the different games. There's so much content in this game. But yeah, like I said, love rhythm games, so it was cool to get this. I don't know if it's like a top Switch game though, but here it is. So cool.
Yeah. Yep. Surprised it's in here, to be honest.
Yeah. Octopath Traveler 2. And yeah, I think like Octopath Traveler, I think the series it's got such a home on Switch, especially with the first title being a Switch exclusive for many years, coming out in like 2017, where everybody's like looking for Switch content. And it's, especially at the time, like Octopath Traveler was the game to bring this brand new retro modern art style to the forefront. And Octopath Traveler 2 just expands on that with characters that sort of the stories intertwine and all of that. Just an absolutely stunning game.
It looks beautiful. Played the demo of this. Stunning. Another Square game that I've dabbled in, but need to take the time to properly experience this and Live Alive.
Spiritfarer. I played a little bit of this. I haven't played too much, but just really emotional. You're essentially like the captain of a ship with spirits that are passing on to the afterlife, and you've got to sort of help them move on from whatever issues or problems they're having that won't let them move from this plane to the next. And just sort of like a really emotional story, and it's like a really nice cartoony and bright art style as well. It's not what you expect when you look at the screenshots.
Yeah, I've never played it. Don't know too much about it.
Next up, Josh, we've got a Nintendo franchise. Look at that. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yes. This is the latest one, brand new one from 2022. Rounded out that trilogy. Yeah, a really phenomenal game. So it does not surprise me it's made the list here. Definitely prefer it over 2. A great inclusion.
Absolutely, yeah. I've still got to get to it. It's another game.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a lot of games I've got to get to,
There's a
and I'll get to one of them maybe. Super Mario RPG, and I loved this game. I really enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I get like playing it all these years later. I'm like, oh, that was amazing. It was good. It was a good like 12-hour experience. I loved having like a nice shorter RPG. The characters were charming and everything. But yeah, it definitely felt like I was playing like a SNES game, and that like
I agree. It was great to experience and like one I've heard about so much. But enjoyed the shorter RPG for sure. But I went out thinking like it was good, but not amazing. But glad to have played it.
What have we got next? We've got Night in the Woods. Okay. I liked Night in the Woods. It's been a long time since I played it. I think it came out 2017. Oh, you got it there? Yeah, it did come out 2017.
Just before the Switch launched. Okay.
Yeah, so I assume it came out the same year on Switch. I remember picking it up, and like the protagonist you're playing is like this cat. It's like a 2D point and click action. Not action. Sorry, point and click adventure game where you're talking to NPCs and there's no combat or anything, but you're playing as like a real cocky cat who sort of like gets humbled over time. I can't really remember much about it, to be honest with you. It's been such a long time, but I remember enjoying it. Like I said though, out of all the indie games I've played and everything over time, this personally wouldn't be on mine. Yeah, but yeah, fair enough. This is one I definitely expected to be on here. Hades, of course, this has to be on there. One of the best games of the generation for many people, and like for me, I enjoyed it, but I don't like redoing the same thing again and again and again with these types of games. Same with Dead Cells. I love Dead Cells, but Christ, I can only play through those biomes again and again and again so many times.
I freaking loved it so much.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it too, but yeah, it's kind of like it's not a game that I go and finish necessarily. It's like I want to, like I remember in Hades, like the first boss, like finally beating it after a few attempts. When you go, I had like a real good run. I went through like heaps more. Then I died. When you go back to the very start, you got to do the boss again. I'm like, oh, don't know. These they just don't feel that satisfying to me. But a lot of people absolutely love them, and it's evident just how many developers are jumping on the bandwagon to make them.
Yeah, we might get number 2 sometime soon. Yeah,
early access on Steam at the moment. So
yes.
To the 1.0 release. It will be out soon, or this year, I think. So, yeah. Dragon Age 11S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. So, yeah. This is like one of the best Dragon Quest games. The year it came out, I was playing it at PAX on my Switch Lite I just bought. And I had it like in my pocket. When I lined up, I'd get it out and I'll do some grinding and I'll put it back whenever I was on the go again. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Never finished it. This is a massive game. But Dragon Quest has always been a game or a series that I've been wanting to get into more. But if I was going to start, it's either going to be with this game or the remake of 3. So yeah.
Yeah. It's the only one I played. Really, really, really enjoyed it. Simple RPG, but it just does it so well. Great story, voice acting. I really enjoyed it.
Next up, Super Mario Wonder. Certainly this would be in the top 10 somewhere on my list if I were to make one. Just Mario 2D, just reinvented, but also very similar at the same time. I loved every second of this game. It was so much fun. 100% of it. Just absolutely loved it. So, definitely a game that represents Switch for me, and the brand new era of Mario without Charles Martinet. Instead of woohoo all the time, you're getting wowie zowie. You're getting a bit of a different touch in there. Wowie zowie. That's gonna hold on for the rest of Mario's life, I reckon. What a catchphrase. So.
Yeah, they did such a great job reimagining 2D Mario here, because the new was getting old, and so Wonder gave a fresh lease of life to 2D Mario, and they did such a great job. It's so wacky and stupid, and I love it for that reason. It's great.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Live Alive, and this was a remake of a Super Famicom game that never came out to the West, and this was the first time it was translated, brought over, remade in that beautiful 2D HD art style. I think there's 12 different characters. You play their stories individually, and when they all come together towards the end, I think this came out no, it didn't. I was trying to think of what else came out around it. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles came out. 3 came out around a very similar time to this, so people kind of had to choose what they were playing.
Looks like this came out a month before Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it came out then too.
And then Advance Wars was April as well of that year.
Was it that year? It wasn't 2023, was it? I know it says it there, but
can't remember. Yeah,
man. Well,
I need to get
blending, it's all blending in, but yeah, cool game. Link's Awakening. I've got to be honest, I'm not that big a fan of this game, to be honest with you. But are you a fan of Link's Awakening, Josh?
I love this game. This got me into 2D Zelda.
Awesome.
Really, really enjoyed it on the Switch. I think it's a beautiful looking game when you don't move. The frames drop once you move. Yeah, I just love the music, the story, just sort of whimsically cute. And then the whole, Mario references. You got the Goombas and other characters that cross over. This is, like, you can tell this was sort of made from an angle of, with a bit of fun and a bit of wit, because there's a bit of a spin-off kind of feel to it. This was them working on it in their lunch breaks, I believe, before it became an official game and published. These workers at Nintendo, and Grazzo did a really good job bringing it to life on the Switch in a new version.
Yeah, no, you can't argue with the art style and how it all looks. It's just it's very unique. Oh, next up, we've got a cool one. We've got one that's close and near and dear to my heart, Okami HD. And this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in my life. I love the aesthetic, just how it looks like a Japanese painting, the whole thing. It's just absolutely stunning. One of the best Zelda games that isn't a Zelda game as well. Everything from the music and everything. And the fact that we're getting a sequel to this game by the original director is just phenomenal. So I'm happy to see this here, even though it was originally a PS2 game. But we're seeing a lot of the Switch is one of the best places to play older ports and everything coming to the system. So yeah, I'm glad this is there. Pikmin 4, Josh, far away.
List. There's so many games on this list, probably more than we thought, but I'm glad this one's here. We had to wait ages for this game. Finally got it. Jam-packed, full of features. Ochi, great character. A couple of new Pikmin. Nighttime mode as well. Super solid outing. It's almost worth the wait. It's that good.
So, Josh, we'll go down to the end of this page. We'll see how many pages we got here, because, I was expecting a top 50 or something, but Christ, the gamer. Look, the game is there's a lot of good games on Switch. Just put them all together. So, mate, let's go through a little bit. Let's go quicker until we get to the end of the page. If you want to stop and talk about one, let's discuss it. But we'll try and speed it up a little bit. We've got Splatoon 3, which was great. We enjoy Splatoon here. Hollow Knight.
I think two did more for me on the Switch in terms of impact.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, especially the time it came out. Can't beat that launch year and just a sequel.
Correct.
Yeah, all of that. Hollow Knight, big fans of that here. South Australian, love Team Cherry.
Yeah, unreal that this game's made here. Silksong will happen eventually. I played this for the first time last year properly. It's a great game. Very, very tough, but very fun.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, one of my favorite Pokemon Switch games. One of my favorite Switch games. It's so much fun. I loved it. Being a Pokemon trainer, actually out in the wild, throwing Pokeballs, getting involved in the actual battles themselves and everything. It was a lot of fun. Can't wait for more. Got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. It was nice to see that come to Switch. Look better. All of that.
Look better. Yeah, got me into the series. Great game.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. My favourite Kirby game. First 3D Kirby game. So much fun. So much charm.
That's what we wanted. Took them way too long to do a 3D Kirby, and they finally did it, and it's good.
Yeah. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
We had fun. We talked about this last week a lot, and yeah, enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. I'm just scrolled down on my phone and it's just like reset where I was on the list. Maybe that's how big the list is, Josh. It just never ends. It's a never-ending list, Josh. My God.
Oh, that's not good. There's just that many good games on Switch, guys. Just, yep, all the games. They're that good. But Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, this game's much better on Switch with the speeding up. And then Bowser's Fury mode's Unreal, and that will be part of the new 3D Mario entry later this year for sure, that kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I love these types of games, but Stardew Valley, it never really got its hooks into me. I need to try it again and see how it all goes.
Never tried because I know it will hook me, so I've avoided it.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Three Houses, it's my favourite Fire Emblem game. Yep, just all the combat, story, being in the monastery. I just, really enjoy that aesthetic.
Yep. You keep going down, Josh. I'm rounding up the top 5. Finally made it to the bottom of this list.
Yep. Metro Dread, talked about that last week. Awesome game. Took way too long, but just, a definitive Metroidvania experience. Definitely worth your time. Haven't played Monster Hunter Rise. Drew, have you?
No, not really. One. I played it like a little bit, but yeah, nothing to talk about.
Yep. Then Remastered, talked about that one last week as well. Yep. Just they definitive way to play it. Twin stick controls. Looks amazing. Looks like a brand new Switch game. They did a great job. I'm up to Ultimate now, Drew. We're near the end, or
we are. So I think that's the top 6. So we're getting there. So Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, yeah, absolutely, just a phenomenal game. Not perfect as far as like modes and maybe some of like the solo content goes. Outside of the just the main story mode, I quite enjoyed that. But just like spirits and all of that, maybe a little bit to be desired as far as all the trophies and that goes. But as far as like characters and the just the meat of the game itself, just one of the best. Absolutely amazing. My second favorite Switch game of all time.
Yep.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Phenomenal. Should be on the list. Best Mario Kart of all time, especially with all the DLC, all the content, everything that's come to it. Can they beat it with Switch 2? Don't know. We will see this later this year.
There's so many things they can do. 10 years of new things. They can beat it.
100%. Hope so. Mario Odyssey. Josh, this is your favourite Switch game?
Yeah, this is an unreal 3D Mario experience. So fun to play, quirky, completely bonkers, but that's just the way I like it. Him in New Donk City's just a cool vibe, and the post game's great.
Ooh, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Second biggest game on Switch. Everybody really rallied around this in COVID times. So, fair enough. If this wasn't in the top 10, I think a lot of people would have been upset. People might be upset it's not number 1. Then, of course,
number 1 here?
Not yet, Josh. We've got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this is just a phenomenal game. Really important game for Nintendo to get the Switch message out there, and even for Zelda fans, I think Zelda fans coming off of as far as like big console games go, coming off of Skyward Sword, there was a lot riding on it for the system and just like the franchise itself. So amazing game. Glad it turned out well. But number 1, Josh, you know they did the right thing. They put Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. They did the right thing.
Call. Yes, it is the right call.
They did the right thing. Like everything from Breath of the Wild they improved on. They expanded. Made the story more, I guess, coherent if you're actually playing the game and not checking out YouTube lore in your own time. I guess depending on what order you do the tiers in, you could get pretty major spoilers if you just like end up in a random area and pull one of the late game tiers out before you set up the story. But that's all part of the experience. So I guess the exploration. Yeah, my favorite game on Switch. Tears of the
Absolute
Kingdom.
marvel of a thing Nintendo made. The physics, everything that works in this game. beautiful, stunning looking, complete masterclass in how to make a video game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Josh, like the top 10, that makes a lot of sense. That's what we expected. But I feel like the rest was pretty rounded. I actually, when I was talking about like what are we going to expect here, all Nintendo games, and it wasn't all Nintendo games. There was some third-party stuff with Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. So Capcom got representation, and we got a bunch of stuff from indie developers as well, which has been like a massive, important, step for Nintendo to get the Switch out there. Just have like some of the best games in the industry, and a lot of them happen to be indie games. So it was cool to see like a lot of them get some representation, even like some that I didn't really maybe agree with just from reacting to it, like A Short Hike and another one, I forgot which it was. But yeah, it was nice to see them get some representation in the top 50. I'm sure it was 50. It felt like about 50. I know it felt like...
more than that. I reckon it was closer to 60, 70.
60? Yeah, no.
Yeah, there was a lot.
So I guess as far as we review, it was a good list. Obviously some stuff in there we would swap around or whatever have you, but I think they nailed the actual Nintendo games as far as what should be in the list. I was kind of surprised not to see Luigi's Mansion 3, for example.
Yeah, yep. I would have had that up there.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see that in there.
Undertale or even Balatro recently.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, yeah, because they did have some like recent games in there. Like we discussed how they might have had some recency bias.
Yeah.
But stuff like Balatro and that not being there. So, that's surprising. But the gamers over at the Gamer, they're gamers. They're not card players, Josh. They're not doing some royal flushes. They're not mucking about.
They're not numberers either. They don't number their game lists.
Yeah, that's right. They're not into numbers. They're like, look,
no,
we don't need to number our list. That's ranked. We'll make it hard for people, going through it on a podcast so they can't say the number.
Thanks, the Gamer.
Yeah, thanks, the Gamer. That was a good list, though. I think the crew over there did a good job, and we'll see what happens next. I said they got a few lists. They got like top 10 survival games on Switch and all that too. Like they're really tapping into the Google search engine, which I appreciate. You got to keep those AdSenses up. They've got plenty of ads on that list.
Yep.
So I hope
let's get clicks.
Yeah, hope it went well for them. Hope we gave them some. How many cents do you reckon they got off of your scrolling there, Josh?
At least 2.
2 cents. Whew. Damn.
We gave them our 2 cents. Hey.
We did give them our 2 cents, Josh. That was very well done. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So yeah, everybody listening, I would like just to get your feedback on how you feel like us reacting to like a list. If that was entertaining for you, like I thought it would just be like a fun idea for Josh and I to go through it, especially like last week when we were, making our own lists and things. I thought it would be interesting to sort of put it onto somebody else and react to their list and give us an opportunity to talk about some games that we either really love or we haven't experienced before. We've got that game in the wish list, Josh. What was it called again? I completely forgot. That visual novel. Paranormal Site. Was that it? Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, so we got that. We might, one of the best Switch games recommended by the Gamer. So we might go and play that later in the year when it's on sale. We'll both pick it up because Josh is the tight ass. Everyone, he wouldn't pick up a full price $30 game. Goodness gracious.
Correct. I'd have to really, really know I'm going to like it.
The Gamer said it's fantastic, Josh. So
yeah, but they got the short hike there as well. Paranormal Site. Gotcha. 7 Mysteries of Honjo.
Yeah, don't know why I forgot that.
Yeah, just rolls off the tongue, Drew. How could you forget?
Yes. But we finished the list, and it's also time to get the hell out of the house. So, everybody, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario, episode 301. If you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the show on youtube.com/iDrewby. Check out my other videos over there as well. And, of course, go over to Josh's Nintendo podcast, Nintendvania, his guest-driven podcast that comes out fortnightly. Josh, remind us again what's happening this week at Nintendvania.
Yeah, so the episode will come out this weekend or early Monday next week, all about Donkey Kong Country Returns get a guest on who's had a really good play of that. We'll deep dive into that game. And then all the February Direct stuff, all the rumors and murmurings, we're going to talk what that could be for Nintendo and how they're going to place the Switch 1 for the rest of the year.
Brilliant. Everybody go and check it out. Links in the show notes for everything we discussed. But until next time, guys, the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. Catch you later. G'day, housemates, and welcome to the House of Mario.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. I can't talk.
Sorry,
Cancel the show.